stronger Gator came out ahead. They landed the last punch that proved to be the final blow.
That is true. Small town, big dreams. That's what football can do.
Book it. This team is going to be on Canal Street.
Oh, I would love that. Hey, gobble gobble. Happy Turkey Week. It's Monday. Recording this on Monday. Norla Sports podcast. Didn't record on a Saturday. Did scouting for you guys. We'll talk about that later. But early happy Thanksgiving from us at Norla Sports to you. It is the recap edition of the third round of the playoffs here in football in the state of Louisiana. I am your host. My name is JD, and our guest today, who will be with us shortly, is Top Rat. He's been on once or twice before, and he's going to be back again today.
Hey guys.
Here he is. Hey Rat. How are you?
Know that you had a great time in New Orleans.
Well, you're giving away the scouting report. They didn't know. Well, if they follow on Twitter, they know I was there. But if they're first-time listeners, they didn't know I was there.
Well,
I was in New Orleans this weekend, and you may be asking yourself, what was Norla doing in Sola? But we were scouting because, as you know, and if you don't know, the final game is going to be in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, all the championship games, all 9 of them, and we hope to have a few Norla teams down there. So I went down to scout the field conditions. And I guess I can go ahead and give you my scouting report. It's an indoor stadium. They play on artificial turf. It's high quality. There was actually a professional football game going on. I wasn't aware that was going to be happening. I thought I was going to get an exclusive media pass view of the stadium, but it turns out it was there was a game between the Saints and a team from Pennsylvania, and the field looked good from my view. It was kind of high, but the turf looks nice. It's going to benefit teams who are fast and some of the bigger schools who are used to playing on turf will kind of have a bit of an advantage there. Some of the smaller schools who are on the grass may have a hard time finding their footing, but the stadium is nice. There's plenty of seating. I don't expect there to be a shortage of seating unless West Monroe makes it, and then they may have to they may go standing room only. But it's a good stadium. It's a good stadium, and then also the rest of the town is there too. I didn't just scout the stadium. I went with an advanced scout team. Top Rat not included. He's not on staff. He's just he's a guest. Well, we went and spent 2 days and nights in the New Orleans area and got a taste of the town, and it was interesting taste, and I really thank you for the. You're gonna just eat those here in the pod. I'm gonna eat those pistachios.
most people, when they think of the Superdome LHSAA Classic, you always think of the Superdome. But a little known fact: many of the first games were played in the home of the Tulane Green Wave, and that it has not always been in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
That's nice. He's probably right. I'm not sure. This year, though, it is in the formerly known as the Louisiana Superdome, Mercedes-Benz Superdome. I don't see how any team, coaches, or fans can go down there and play a focused game because there's so much distraction around. There's Bourbon Street, which is an interesting place, and we scouted that out as well. And because of that, I don't really have a lot. I don't have lines yet. You're following on Twitter and you're saying, where are the lines? Where are the entertainment lines? It's the quarterfinals. Well, I get it, but I had to scout. This was the only weekend I could do it, so I went and I did it. And I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. No, I did eat. I ate a lot. but I didn't sleep. I don't have the lines ready. We did lots of scouting on the town and of the local the nightlife there, and we have lots of things. I can't really talk about most of them, but the field is nice. And the lines aren't ready. You're just gonna have to be patient and bear with us.
And it sounds like when you went, you had the same scouting report that I gave on my trip to beautiful New Orleans. My header, justified right in the center. Coaches, parents, families, avoid Bourbon Street.
Avoid it.
Slash the French Quarter and stay on Canal.
I bought a nice jacket of the local professional team in New Orleans, and it's tarnished. It's been tarnished by the nightlife, and I just don't. I'm very upset about that.
Well, let's get to some scores.
Let's get to some scores. We covered. We're going to start off with the game of the week.
Hang on, JD. Let's give the fans what they came.
They came for the game of the week.
Signed up for.
They came for the game of the week because that's what we covered. And you may not remember it, but we were there. It was a long time ago, a full 3 days. 3 days ago. We traveled to the city of Shreveport to see the Calvary Baptist Cavaliers take on the Isidore Newman Greenies out of New Orleans, actually.
I think everybody going into this game knew that this team, Newman, their shoes have never been bigger because of the exact history and reputation. The Manning, not only Peyton, but Cooper and Eli left. This team filled the shoes. Hey, and they still their shoes are too small to fit.
As the Mannings played at Newman, both Peyton and Eli, and also Cooper, and so it is a small world, but with big shoes. And collectively, those three created a high benchmark and a very large sole of a shoe that the Greenies have to lead up to. And boy, they did not disappoint.
Hey, and we can't go on with legacies, histories, and traditions without mentioning the Calvary Eagles, and who their coach was a few short 6 years ago, the head coach of the Super Bowl winning champions, Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson played right here in college at the University of Louisiana Monroe, which is within the Norla coverage area. If they were a high school, we would cover them. Sometimes they play like they are a high school, but technically they're not, so we can't cover them. But yes, lots of history between these two. The Cavaliers, if you're from the Monroe area, just think of OCS times about 1.3. That's kind of what the Calvary feel was like. And they came out, and the offenses were going right off the bat. Calvary scored on their first two possessions. Newman scored on their first, and then the defenses kind of locked down. But late in the second half, fourth quarter actually, Calvary had a 28-10 lead, and were heavy favorites to win the game with less than 10 minutes to go.
When you take the graphs of these teams' win percentages during the game, the win percentage to win this specific game, Calvary was as high on the charts as we can go. And a problem with that is when you can't go any higher, there is a ceiling. This team was under the roof. They stayed in the house. They ended up falling, and they hit their booty. They hit the ground.
They did. They ended up losing the game 31-28. They allowed 21 straight points in just 9 minutes by Newman. That included an onside kick by Newman. It was really exciting. We hate to see our team fall, but it was certainly worthy of Game of the Week. So much so that volunteer correspondent Top Rat was actually running out onto the field during the game, past the barriers and that were set there to keep him off the field. He ends up on the field anyway. He did not interfere with the game, but he was having a good time.
Watching this game, the quarterback for Newman, the obvious comparison is there. Number 12 back in the day, Mr. Peyton Manning. This guy, he's on the way to Tennessee. He is going to be as good, if not better, than Peyton Manning.
Nice. So he's going to play at Tennessee. That's something I did not know, but you heard it here first, folks.
He hasn't officially signed yet, but he's a young kid, and he's still got a while to go before he gets out of high school. So Tennessee is likely where he will sign.
Well, that's bonus coverage because that's a SOLA school, so we're not obligated to cover them. But there you go. You never know what you're going to get on this show. And Calvary loses, and so in the Division III select bracket, they are gone, and they were the last Norla team standing. So Division III, we're just going to X out of it on the old laptop right now because Division III is done, just like Division II last week. They're gone. So now we will go to talk about Division IV with a team that we just referenced to being like Calvary. The Ouachita Christian Eagles had a home game against mighty Southern Lab, the Kittens out of Southern Lab.
All right, guys, when you get on I-20, you go west, you go to Shreveport. In Shreveport, there's Calvary, team we just covered. Take Calvary, for all you guys that are wondering, hey, what is OCS like compared to Calvary? Take Calvary, divide it by 1.3, that's OCS.
Right. The juice them down a bit, and there they are. And same colors, same demographics, same committed, passionate fan base. OCS 29 or something, don't really remember. A big underdog in this one. Very sure they were not going to be victorious, and we're going to see their season fall at home to a very overly talented Southern Lab team. And then OCS goes up 21-8 at halftime. Really shocked us. It was one of those, what is this kind of moments? Are we witnessing something great? And then they would not score in the second half, and with 12 seconds to go in the game, they would fall to Southern Lab 22-21.
You know, this was a heartbreak for not only the parents, coaches, and the fans, but the family. And OCS, I think they have nothing to be not proud of. Everything to write home about. I like the way this team fought and battled.
I like them. I like them too. And they had a good season, and now they get to go home and celebrate Thanksgiving with their families because their season has fallen short. But they fought hard and really turned some eyes. The other team in that bracket, St. Fred, also fought hard and turned some eyes in their 50-0 loss to Vermilion Catholic. I don't know anything about that one.
Andy Robinson used to coach at Ruston. Well, now he's at St. Frederick, and he has this team carrying the Ouachita Parish flag.
We covered that in the last pod. But, that's previously been covered. They'll pass the Ouachita Parish flag on to other teams. So Fred loses, OCS loses, so D4 is also gone. So we only have one more bracket of the select schools, and that's Evangel Christian, who beat Bird. We knew that was going to happen. Bird covered, but they still lost by 20 at the generic Lee Hedges Stadium.
I had no clue that game was at Lee Hedges. We actually thought about going to that game, not for game of the week, just to watch. But I think if they would have told us it was at Lee Hedges, we wouldn't have been seen within a 2 mile. We wouldn't have gone.
I knew it was at Lee Hedges, which is why I didn't consider it game of the week. Sometimes it's good to know why you're in charge. Evangel will now go on to travel and play John Curtis in the semifinals. A powerhouse, probably the biggest powerhouse in the state as far as consistency goes. So fingers crossed for the Evangel Eagles. They will have a tough one in the semis.
There are about 4 teams, give or take, left in the Division I playoffs. Evangel is the only team in the Norla area. We are going to be rooting hard for them, as all of our listeners and followers will too. The
last select school standing from the Norla. So good luck to them as they travel to play Mr. John Curtis. And we'll go on and we'll talk about the non-select schools, the public schools we all know and love, in their second round matches. Oak Grove Tigers beat Slaughter Community Charter 44-0, and that game, I believe, was a skip it, so we don't need to talk about it too much. Plus, honestly, I just don't know anything about what went on in that game. Like, again, I had a long weekend. Bear with me. We're just trying to do our jobs here. It's just something we have to do, so we're going to tell you the scores anyways. Next to them, 9 seed Jonesboro Hodge went on the road to Oberlin and lost 23-22. I think they probably covered that spread, but their season is done. Jonesboro Hodge will go celebrate Thanksgiving with their families. And and Oberlin will advance to play Oak Grove. So good for them.
Did you talk about the Haynesville Golden Tours?
Well, they're at the bottom of the bracket, so I'm going to get there. We have there's a lot of Norla schools in 1A playoffs, so just be paid. Homer's the next team we're talking about.
I'd say most of the people listening to this podcast listen specifically for the 1A teams, non-select.
Well, I am in charge of the podcast, but the owner does require that we cover all the teams. We'll get to Haynesville in a minute. We'll just go ahead and make Haynesville game of the week next week.
Game of the week is going to be at Haynesville next week. We have already week 1 podcast. We talked about Haynesville. We talked about Port-au-Prince. Week 1 podcast as well. We talked about Delhi. Now podcast 3. We got them both head to head, helmets, shoulder pads. This is going to be a fight.
Well, we'll just use that context clues just to go and tell you Delhi won and Haynesville won. So they advance to play in the game of the week next week at 7:30. Haynesville always plays at 7:30. Also, the other Norla team in that bracket was Logansport. They win 48-0. So they move on again to play West St. John. That will be a tough one. And then, we already said Haynesville and Delhi won. So I don't know anything about those games. So we'll go on to the next.
Sounds like you had a busy weekend.
Well, we've already talked about that. I did have a busy. Yes. I had to go do some scouting. We covered that. It was busy. 2A. Manny Ravel. Ravel loses to Manny 53-32. Were you surprised by this one?
Ravel and Manny?
Ravel and Manny. I was not.
I mean, I think most people knew that Manny would win, and I don't know much about Ravel, and because of that, I'm not going to add anything. I'm not going to touch anything I don't really know about the teams.
I don't know anything about Ravel either. They lose to Manny, and that was no surprise. So Ravel will go home to Thanksgiving. Mansfield was a 12 seed. They lose to Welsh. They'll go home for a Thanksgiving. General Trask was a 14 seed. They lose to Faraday. They'll have Thanksgiving.
We do lose General Trask, but Faraday's right in that kind of border area where they're almost NOLA.
They're not.
They have to be SOLA.
So
if we have to lose to one team, not we being NORLA schools, if General Trask trade spots with the Central Louisiana, I think that's one of the cases where we'll say, hey, we'll take what we can get.
General Trask used to be called Lake Providence High School. So the 2A schools all lose. Unfortunately, we're done covering the 2A playoffs. I really like that class, so I'm kind of bummed about that.
Next,
yes. Well said. 3A is very wide open. This is the one we've been eyeing pretty hard. North Webster continues to be good, better than I thought maybe. They beat St. James 26-23, and they will go play the 1 seed Iota this next week. That'll be tough, but good luck to the North Webster team.
Good luck.
Union beat Gina 34-14. They won by 20, and that entertainment line was all over the place. Some of you were very right. Some of you were very wrong. Union will advance over a good Gina team, and they will play Sterlington, who went into overtime against Church Point and won a basketball game 57-56.
Sterlington Union is a rematch of our second ever history of Norla Sports Game of the Week.
It is.
We were on location, on site, and on assignment for this classic. Sterlington pulled it out, but not before a Union fight. I expect this game to go in.
Where's it going?
I believe Sterlington pulls it out again.
Sterlington was a road team when we covered them in the GOTW, but now they will host. So the Fightin' Farmers will travel across the Ouachita over into Sterlington.
For any of y'all wondering how off closed markets go at the 5 o'clock on the trading street, I can guarantee you this game when you have a flip flop of road favorite, road away, road home, road home. Last game, Union favored by approximately 4.5. Expect this line to be Sterlington as the favorite.
All right. I'll decide that line when we get there. I haven't looked at it yet, but we'll see. If you think Sterlington should be the favorite, we'll just wait and see. And so we'll get that line later. Caldwell Parish went down to Madison Prep, and they left. I think it's safe to say they forgot their offensive coordinator back in Columbia, and they lose to Madison Prep 6-0. So Caldwell's season will end, and they go home to Turkey. And then beneath them, 18 Wassman has been turning heads all year, and then they get turned at the last second there. They lose to Eunice at home, 13-12. We all wanted to see them go farther, but they fall short. And they also will go home to Thanksgiving. So in 2A, we're left with Sterlington, Union, and North Webster. So, 3A.
In 3A, there's about around 8 teams left. Well, 3 of those schools are from Norla. I like our chances. Unlike the select division with Evangel, that's got 4 teams in it and only 1. So this team has more both available and to win it. I like our chances.
Yeah, Rat, cover 4A. I have to go to the bathroom.
All right. In Class 4A of the LHSAA football playoff bracket, let's see. Tioga is not in the coverage area. They are just south of the coverage area. Bastrop, with Coach Adrian Burnett, they beat Westgate 40-14. Neville, they are another excellent Norla school. Next, right there across the river from West Monroe, they beat Pearl River 31-9. And I believe Northwood Shreveport, they are the 7 seed.
Did you talk about Bastrop? Did you talk about Bastrop yet? I'm back.
Yes, Coach Adrian Burnett with the mentor Brad Bradshaw, they pull out the victory, 40-14.
Oh, good. I didn't know that score. I was worried. And then you, thanks, Rat, for covering 4A for us. We will see some 4A action
next week.
And we'll talk about 5A. Sorry, I had just not feeling well today. I didn't get any sleep. Where were we?
Well, were you scouting or?
I was scouting, yes.
Hey, okay.
Just doing very busy work. If you think I was doing something other than scouting, you are mistaken. Scouting is hard, Rat, especially in the Canal Street.
Well, that's why I'm still thinking about joining the staff, and I haven't. I'm not sure I'm up for that time. I don't know if I have time.
I don't think anybody is up for the scouting that we did. I don't think we were up to it either. But we do it.
Well, what were y'all up to?
We do it for you, the fans. We were scouting the area. We have to do a full scout, not just the field. There's so much more that goes into it. That football is not about a pigskin and some pads and helmets. It's about people and towns and communities. So we had to scout the communities. So we work hard. 5A is the last one we talk about. West Monroe beat Shreve 43-0. I'm not biased towards West Monroe. Lots of you were talking about that on Twitter, thinking I should give Captain Shreve a chance, but they didn't have a chance and they lost 43-0.
There seemed to be a lot of interactions and a lot of comments and questions about this line. Well, all need be should do is look at the bio of this Twitter. First word, unbiased.
Unbiased is right. Thank you. for that reminder of why we do things. West Monroe beat Pineville 53-0 in the first round, and now Shreve 43-0 in the second round. So if you look at the math, they should win in the next round 33-0. We'll see if that holds up. Ruston had a rematch with a district foe.
I would say they should win 48-0. 53 plus 43 is 96. They should win by 48, not 33.
But the progression is as it goes round to round, your opponent gets tougher, and so you're going to get closer margins. That's how it will work.
Numbers can be misleading, but this game, take both games, average them. They should score on average 48 points.
You should not do that. You should just wait for the line to come out, and we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out when we get there. Ruston is the team that will play next because they went into overtime with a high scoring game. 2 overtimes and beat Ash 61-60. So Ruston will travel in the quarterfinals down I-20 to West Monroe. That's a good one. If you're not coming to the game of the week at Haynesville, go watch those Rebels and Bearcats play. West Monroe will win, but it should be a good game for them. And the other Norla team in the bracket, I almost forgot Halton. Halton also lost. They played John Ehret, and they lose 37-6. But a great season for the Buccaneers from Halton. We're very proud of them.
I think a lot of people, and me included, and maybe even unconsciously, JD, they see Halton. Their first thought is Hanville, but this is actually a Norla team.
My first thought is usually that I confuse Halton with Huntington. But that's a different, it's a horse of another gender. Halton loses 37-6.
Probably the most common one would be Homer, and you guessed it, JD. What is the most Homer and
Haynesville?
Homa.
Oh.
That is a classic Sola, Nola pronunciation in ER. And if Homer was down south, that'd be Home. But really, Homa is the Sola team, and upstairs in the north, Homer is pronounced Homer.
There's also Franklin Parish and Franklin Ton and Franklin.
Yeah,
but only Franklin Parish is Norla.
I see Neville play a mixture of all those. They play Franklin Parish. They also will play Franklinton, a classic 4A state division rival. Neville and Franklinton have come to square off many times, and Franklin Parish is still in District 2 4A.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You also see other General Trask and Captain Shreve, and you think you get the captain and the general confused sometimes. But those are very far apart. Opposite ends of I-20, those teams are. And Washita Parish, I can't think of one they sound like, but they would lose to Terrebonne by exactly 21 points. So that was a good line. That was a good line. So take that with a grain of salt and put that in your cereal and eat it. So Washita loses 35-14. It's a Terrebonne, a good Terrebonne team. So the Lions season will end, and they will go enjoy Thanksgiving with Halton. So the only teams left in the Norla for 5A will play each other next week. At this point, because of the scouting, I don't have much left to say. And you don't really want to hear about the scouting. It's not relevant to the podcast. It's really none of y'all's business. So, Rat, you
sensitive eyes, sensitive ears, and sensitive
hearts
need not listen to this is a divisive speak character.
And so we're not going to go to the scout. You know what? I have to go to the bathroom again. Rat, will you want to do your segment? You want to do that segment again? The night thing, the Norla night thing.
For the second week, we're going to come back. That's 2 weeks in a row, and I'm honored to give you and provide Norla Sports presents Norla Nights.
We're looking forward to hearing it. Good luck.
The 2009 Haynesville Golden Tours, coached by David Franklin.
Have any water in
Week 1, this team, they got them at the Spring Hill.
Wait, is this the same thing you did last week? With the, let me see that. What are you doing?
This is the Week 1 Haynesville.
It's too long. Just do the.
No, the people.
Just do the district. Just do the district
No,
schedule.
the season is what matters.
We don't have time. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You start district and go to the playoffs.
No, but they went undefeated in district. There's nothing to talk about in district.
We'll talk about how they went undefeated. That's impressive. Just make it work. If you want to come back and guess this show, you need to work with us here.
All right, and if I had Arkansas, Magnolia was their second game, and that they're certainly not in district. So the district.
I think the district is Haynesville, so district starts with Homer.
Well, where does it end?
Oh, they have a big district, so really you're only skipping 2 games. They only played 2 non-district games until the playoffs. You can just start in week 3.
And then go to the end of the
and you just
playoffs or regulars.
Well, just make it snappy. Just cover what. Do your segment. Just do your segment.
So, do you want me to cover the playoffs?
Oh, what were you gonna cover?
I was gonna cover the whole season.
Well, just start. I tell you what. Just start on the back. Start with that one. Lincoln Prep.
The Lincoln Prep team. They lost 24-18. Then they head on to Arcadia, the short drive. They pulled it out 47-22.
Arcadia is in Bienville Parish, I believe.
So they've only lost 2 games so far. Then they go to the Kentwood Kangaroos. That is sure to be
That's playoffs, right?
Yeah. Well,
let's see if that's the finals, and then that's the semis, quarters, second round.
Oh, this was
that's the playoffs.
This was the first round of the playoffs. They beat Kentwood in what was sure to be they both teams fought. I'm sure White Castle. They had to get on the road and go to White's Castle, and they won it. The Haynesville won it 67-42. There in Richland Parish. The ugly stepchild of the Delhi Bears, the Delhi Charter Gators. They had to go. Well, Delhi had to go to Haynesville, and Delhi lost. Haynesville won. Then they went to hey, get on the bus, guys. We're going to Plaquemine.
What seed was Haynesville that year? What do you know?
That's a 3A bracket. Oh no, that's 1A. They were the 4 seed, much like. Just this last week, our first Northern Knights team, West Monroe Rebels, they were also a 4 seed.
I think you really want to get those top 4 seeds. That's when you have the best chance of making a far run.
Because honestly, when you do one against the field is actually the favorite. So the 4 seed is a good team to pick. Then in the Superdome, they went all the way from Haynesville to the Superdome to play South Plaquemines. This team, Coach David Franklin, was carrying home.
Not to be confused with Franklin Parish.
They were carrying home.
Continue.
They were carrying home the LHSAA state trophy as they won 19-12.
Haynesville won, just like they're gonna win this year, right?
Probably so. That is Norla Nights.
Wait, that's it?
That's it for Norla Nights.
That's the whole segment?
That's it for Norla Nights, yeah.
That's all you had. So, is there not...
Well, the Norla Nights, we just cover each game in the season.
So, you're not going to talk about the team or how the game went?
Well, they went... I think most of the people that were part of that season, when you hear the
Where did you
team,
get this schedule? Max Preps?
the team and the score, that reunites a lot of
The
enough memories.
The game times are TBA, and it happened happened.
Well, the
9 years ago.
dates are accurate, and that's really what
Are they
matters.
though? I don't really trust that site. See you guys next week.
Oh, bye. No,
Yeah, we're ending it. We're ending it here. I have to go to bed. Bye.
See y'all next week.